A dead man called out for his love to flee. Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree where I told you to run so we'd both be free? Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree where a necklace of hope side by side with me? Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree where I told you to run so we'd both be free? Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree where they strung up a man, they say we were free? Strange things that happened here, no stranger would it be? We met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree? Death and fall, now for his love to free. Strange things that happened here, no stranger would it be? We met at midnight in the hanging tree.
Now it's working. Hi, guys. Got to check my volume because I don't know if it's StreamYard playing around or if it's Facebook. Either way, you guys should be able to hear me now. But I always got to check every time I come on. Anyway, welcome to Monday night at, the real and raw truth with common sense. And I hope everyone had a great weekend. Monday nights is not my favorite day of the week, but we'll get by. It was, we'll get by. As it is. That's why I love doing podcasts on Mondays, because I despise Mondays for some odd reason. But before we get going on the live, the podcast and all that good stuff, we always do shout outs, to our Freedom family, our common sensors, our pure bloods, our once upon a time pure bloods, our American family and patriots, thanks to Mr. Roland Cerna down there. We got to get him back on the show pretty soon. Get his thoughts on the whole indictments that are coming and James Comey and all that stuff. And of course, he's signed up on StreamYard, and I taught him how to use it. So we'll see how he's doing on that part. Anyway, we'll check out who's on tonight with us as the family, and we'll go from there, guys. So the first shout out's going out to Gilles Bourgeois. How you doing, May? Judy Horn from Kentucky. Miss Genevieve, which I'll get to your message, Genevieve, that you sent me. Miss Amy. Yes, we're going to talk about it, Miss Amy. How you doing, Brent, all the way from North Carolina? Marcel the Tiger Dion. How you doing, Marcelina, Camaro Chevy Girl, Miss Janelle, Roland. Where else? Ron from the Peg area. Brenda Pryor, Mudia Dag, Dale from Nova Scotia, Miss Carrie from Ontario or Ontario. How you doing, John from Moncton? Mike Boom from Riverview. Vincent from Rishabuktu. John Daly from Pennsylvania. I'm a Flyers fan, so let's hope they do better than what this year playing hockey, John. How you doing, Brent from North Carolina? How you doing, Jane? Who else? Norman, Miss Kim, Yolanda, Miss Nancy, Irene, of course, Patty Voltor. Who else? Annette. Anybody else? Michelle, of course. Louis LeBlanc. Marcel Robichaud. Joanna from the USA. Jan from Grabelski from Ottawa. Linda, the Bear Terrio. Welcome to this is probably one of his first podcasts. Miss Eagles from Ontario. Sylvia from the island. And Andrea. Miss Nancy. Diane King. All right. Serge, brother from a different mother from Shediac. Kathy from Alberta. And who was from Penfield here? I just missed one from Penfield, New Brunswick. Penfield. Andrea. Yeah, sorry. Andrea from Penfield. And Miss Cecile and Kathy, of course, that I said from Alberta. All right, guys. So everybody's been talking and sending me messages like crazy about digital ID, digital ID, digital ID. Okay. And how you doing, Pauline Bork? All right. First things first. All right. Let's stop with the digital ID. All right. For the people that follow me, that's been following me for 5 years. They've been talking about digital ID since the beginning of time. All right. Now, we always refer the digital ID to something that the government can control and shut down things, shut down our bank accounts, shut down our money to go shopping, obviously, healthcare, all that stuff. All right. They'll be able to shut down. Now, yes, we all know that they're trying, and I use the word trying, to implement this by the year 2030. All right. So they're going to try to do it in UK. Is it going to work? No, of course it's not going to work, guys. Of course it's not going to work. There was over 2 million people that signed a petition in less than 24 hours in the UK. All right. It's not going to work, but it's great because remember, if the people that have been following me, and again, besides me and Roland, we're pretty much the only podcasters that really are telling you the truth. Everybody sells fear. They sell fear. Fear sells for some odd reason. I should have 60, 70,000 people on my podcast every night, but I don't sell fear. So obviously people don't like hearing the truth, obviously, because it's not good enough for them because people love that fear. So I can't sell fear. I just sell truth. I'm not Donkey Thief, Chris Sky, predicting the future or what he ever thought he was going to predict from reading a book. But it never came true, right? Right, Chris? Did we fall back into the scam of the pandemic, Chris? No. Were we our lockdown and FEMA camps by now, Chris? No. I mean, anyway, we won't even get into that because my blood pressure goes up to actually have people that were actually listening to that idiot. So let's start off with this. The whole thing of all of this, guys, it's all, and if you guys follow Trump, it's all about exposure. All right. We know that Boris Johnson was replaced a long time ago with a double. That's 100%. We know Merkel, whatever you name her, for the Chancellor of Germany. Remember, I showed a video a few years ago where she's standing beside Macron and she's shaking like you literally, I don't know what kind of ceremony was going on. And she was standing there with Macron and she was shaking like she was trembling. All right. Because she knew what was going to happen to her. She knew that this was the end of her line. Macron, of course, he's, a double. Of course, the Pope and all that stuff was a double. Everybody else that, like Starmer, of course, Keir Starmer is going to be a double, put there on purpose to literally expose of what the WEF, the UN, the elites, the 13 bloodlines, all of that, which they've been totally wiped off the face of the earth, just to let you know. The Vatican, of course, the royal family, you know what I mean? All of them have been wiped out. Every single one of them have been wiped out. If you think that's Prince Charles with his stubby sausage fingers, you're you're losing it. Of course, Joe Biden, I showed you a video the other day, was when they showed all the presidents in the White House and they used Joe Biden's picture as an auto pen. Like, come on. And then you have President Trump literally telling everybody that Joe Biden was executed and died in 2020. Did that make the news? That should have been on the news. That should have been like talked about for about 6 months straight of why Donald Trump said this. You understand? The news should have, common sense, the news should have kept on saying this, that this guy is crazy. This president's crazy. He's saying that the ex-president was executed in 2020. Who's the guy? They didn't really even report it. You understand? So common sense is out the window when it comes to thinking about things, right? Yes, I know he's living in Mexico. Hopefully the cartel will get to Chris soon, because he's a druggie, right? He's going to do something stupid. He's going to tell somebody off down in Mexico. I know. My second life is in Colombia. I know how it works, but Mexicans are even crazier than Colombians. You understand? They'll find out that he's a trust fund baby. They'll kidnap him. They'll ransom him off, and his big mouth. Either way, we'll probably never see Chris Guy again. Just to let you know. So yeah, at the end of the day, when Donald Trump is saying that the ex-president was executed in 2020 and no news attacks that come on, think about that for common sense. All right, I'm going to talk about a couple more things, common sense, specifically one that we talked about last night in a room full of referees again. And someone said something, and my God, I they didn't talk about Donald Trump this time because I can't say anything, but they talked about something. And let's just say when I walked out of there, I held my head high because not one of them could answer this question. But anyway, we'll get to that because I wrote it all down. All right. So besides that, the digital ID, no, that was the plan. The whole plan is digital ID. But before the digital ID, they had to start with this whole green slush fund, the whole climate change BS. And the reason why, I'll ask you guys, how about this? I'll throw this out to you guys. What do you think the main reasoning is for them to do the whole climate change narrative? I'll give you guys 30 seconds to hit me up. What you think in your mind, why they start hitting us with global warming, acid rain, the polar caps are melting. There's a hole in the ozone layer. I think I said that. Global warming, and now it's climate change, Y2K. Yes, it's all fear mongering, but now with the climate change, all right? Now with the climate change, what do you think is the main reason why they came out with climate change? All right, so Irene says control. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit. Pandemic lasts longer. No. Andrea says control. But definition of control, guys. Money taxes. I knew Irene was going to say money taxes. That's not. I mean, they print money. They print money. Okay. Yes, what it does, it makes us poor. But you got to remember, climate change is only happening in Canada. There's no other country in the world. There's no other country in the world paying carbon tax. So it's got nothing to do with money for the main agenda. All right. Control the masses, distraction. What's up, Mr. Joel? Come on. There's something. Brainwash. Okay. Yeah. Controls a little bit of it. Okay. But the main reason, come on, guys. You've been following me for 5 years. Some of you for 5 years. But what do you think? Because this is what I like. What's up, John? Why do you think they're coming out with the climate change narrative? Because you got to remember, yes, they're talking about around the world, but Canada's the only place in the world that gives the less carbon, but we're the only country in the world that's paying for carbon tax. So fear, make us scared. They can manipulate us. Okay. Well, you guys are hitting kind of all, but the main reason is for the whole Agenda 2030. All right. All right. So what are they trying to hit us with the climate change is they're trying to hit us, right? They're trying to hit us with electric, windmills, turbines, no gas, electric cars. You understand? After electric cars goes hand in hand with digital IDs. After digital IDs goes with the whole you know, the whole one world, new world order. So they do the climate change, make people believe that the earth is changing, all right, even though we're the only country. Make us believe that electric cars will save us and save the climate. And then while they're trying to do the whole climate change BS and making us buy electric cars, then what happens is once we're all down to electric cars, because, you know, the liberals announced that there won't be no gas by 2035, there will all be electric cars by 2035. That's never going to happen. All right. So when they have the electric cars and they have the digital ID and they got you on, there's no more money, no more cash, because now they're making it harder. Like, check this out, guys. This was the most stupidest thing I've ever seen the other day. There's a gas station here in Moncton. Make it make sense, okay? Make it make sense, okay? Yeah, I seen that Camaro and the school buses. You know, they stopped the electric school buses. But watch this. So at the gas station now, and you're going to see this, all right? You're going to see this. But at one particular gas station on St. George, it says, for example, $1.46 if you pay cash, or if you pay with your debit or credit card, it's $1.40. Make that make sense. I'll give you guys 30 seconds. So if you pay with cash, you're paying more than for the price of gas than if you were to pay with a debit card and a credit card. Make that make sense, because it doesn't make sense to me. You know, it really doesn't. So that's little things that you got to watch out for, as they're going to probably in the future, the liberals, is literally take away cash and give businesses incentives, or people like us incentives, by saying, for example, at the supermarket or at the grocery store, we'll probably have 2 tags in the future saying, fruit, a bag of fruit's $5 if you pay with a debit card, but it's $6 if you pay with cash. You understand? I can see that coming in the future, because they're trying to cripple everybody, and they're doing a really good job of it financially. So people are going to go for the no-name brands like we've been doing right now, the compliments brands, the President Choice brand, which is all poison. You know, it doesn't matter what if you're eating that crap from President's Choice and Nestle and all that. I know not everybody's got the amount of money, but you're actually poisoning your body when you're buying this crap. All right. So the whole point with the narrative of the climate change is to focus on dinging us like cows going in, in a stable, and they're going into like, I don't know what they call trowels, and they're going into one row instead of like 5 rows. They squeeze them into 1 row. This is what they're trying to make us get us in by 2030, is making us believe that these electric cars, which are the worst thing you can imagine what they're doing, but they'll be able to shut off our cars. They'll be able to bring in 15-minute cities. We can't forget about that. They'll bring in those 15-minute cities. This is never going to happen. I'm not fear-mongering. This is not going to happen, but I get a kick on how they're doing it, because if you're wide awake, you can see all the plans, and I'd laugh at it. Like, I had a close friend message me today, scared out of her mind about digital IDs. I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. Well, look what Danielle Smith is doing in Alberta. No, that's got nothing to do with digital IDs. All right. It's got nothing to do with digital IDs of shutting things off. It's literally, she knows what's going to happen. It's literally a card, a driver's license with stuff on it that saves people from having a social insurance number, like when a cop stops you, for example, or you got your wallet and you got all this ID. I got my birth certificate. I got my social insurance number. I got my health care. I got my, you know what I mean? It's just, and then if your wallet goes missing, like my wallet's been stolen, I don't know how many times, I'm still waiting for my social insurance number from Ontario. It's been a couple years now. You understand? Thank God I remember the number for some reason. I don't remember the girlfriend's birth date or the mother's birth date, but for some reason I know my social insurance number and my Medicare number. So that's all Danielle Smith is doing with digital ID. It's got nothing to do with a digital ID where it's got a computer chip in it and they'll be able to shut things off. Just people are not thinking straight. So as for what Starmer is doing down there, it's totally, you know what I mean? It's totally what the UN are trying to do. All right. That's, you won't be able to work if you don't have a digital ID and stuff like that. That's never going to work. But I mean, I get a kick out of it, you know, and I'm going to show you. This was last weekend. I'll show you a video. This popped off last weekend in the UK. Check this out. 30 seconds.
Wow, the people of Spain, I guess they had enough. Huh? Is that Europe is waking up? Is that what it is? Maybe Germany's next, the Netherlands. You guys gonna have to. Europe is under siege by this radical Islamic movement. Okay, yeah, financed by Qatar and Iran and all that other shit. To take over Europe. Exactly. Spain needs to wake up. Boom.
See? And that's happening. That was in Spain. That's happening in the UK with over 3 million. It's happening in Poland. It's happening in, what do you call it? Australia. Everybody is waking up all at the same time. I love it. I really do love it. So, no, they're not going to bring the digital ID, even though someone sent me something. Did you see what they asked Carney about the digital ID? And he said, no, we don't have, you know, plans for that for the future. We don't know. Give me a break. Carney is not going to last 4 years. And if he ever did last 4 years, it's going to, like the NDP party with Jagmeet Singh, it's definitely, he's going to destroy the Liberal Party, just like Biden and Camel Toe destroyed the Democrat Party. You understand? That's all this Carney thing is going to happen. Trump just put Canada aside and said, here, you're going to deal with your elbows up crew. Okay. Canada, you deal with them. You shame them. You blame them. We'll leave you guys aside. I'm going to come in to pick up the mess when it's time. And Alberta's going to come to me. Saskatchewan, Manitoba. If I was the States, I wouldn't take Manitoba. Sorry, Ron, just move to Alberta. And then BC's talking about it. Okay. And then, of course, Quebec. You know, Quebec, who cares about Quebec? Like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, when it came to the whole freedom movement, Quebec was there. Trust me, there was a lot of Quebec people. But I'm not, when I say Quebec, I don't mean 100% of Quebecers, but, you know, there's a good 80, 90% that would say build that 10-foot wall and fill it with water. But they want to separate. They've been wanting to separate since the 90s. Who cares? At the end of the day, I really don't care. I'll help them separate. I'll help build the wall with them. So anyway, enough with the digital ID. No, it's not coming. Don't worry what happens in the UK. UK, whatever happens, UK is, I hate to say it, I mean, the UK is the breeding ground of what the UN are trying to do worldwide. So it's great to see what they try to do in UN, because they'll try to implement that in Canada, which won't work. All right. I mean, that was the great thing about the pandemic, is it opened a lot of people's eyes. All right. It opened a lot of people's eyes, the pandemic. Now, don't get me wrong. There's still people that voted Liberal. There's still people that took the jab. There's still people that voted for Mark Carney. I mean, because the definition of insanity is voting for the same shit and expecting a different outcome. You know, that's insanity, which, I have to mark that down, because I wanted to talk about that on my meeting next week. So, yeah. So anyway, so forget about the digital ID coming to Canada. Never going to happen, because right after, Skidmark Carney is going to be, voted out with a non-confidence. Pierre's going in, but Pierre's going to be on strings. You can guarantee Pierre's going to be on strings with Donald Trump. All right. So, but I like to see it. It's definitely interesting. All right. So let's do a couple things. Since we're speaking about the UK mayors, check this out.
The mayor of London is Muslim. The mayor of Birmingham is a Muslim. The mayor of Leeds is Muslim. The mayor of Blackburn is Muslim. The mayor of Sheffield is Muslim. The mayor of Oxford is a Muslim. The mayor of Luton is a Muslim. The mayor of Oldham is a Muslim. The mayor of Rochdale is a Muslim. All of this was achieved by only 4 million Muslims out of the 66 million people in England. Today in England, there are over 3,000 mosques. There are over 130 Sharia courts in England, and there are more than 50 Sharia councils. 78% of Muslim women do not work and receive state support and free accommodation. 63% of Muslims do not work and receive state support and free housing. State-supported Muslims...
You don't come in England and raise a Palestinian flag that you can't raise in your own country. Don't do that. That's disrespect. I guarantee no Muslim here go to Dubai and raise a Palestinian flag there. Yeah, even Qatar, you can't do that. You can't do that, my friend. So why do it in Europe? Because of human rights? Because you're allowed to? Those things have to stop. You don't invade anybody's country to take over. Their country is not yours. The democracy is built by the people, of the people, and voted for those people. So you come and you integrate to build a society while you build yourself. That's what the integration is for. But you can't go...
Yeah, all the power to that African brother who was probably born in UK. He was exactly right. You don't do that stuff in other countries because they'll literally cut your hands and cut your head off, like literally on the roads, public executions. So don't come to our countries and do the same thing. But again, that's the whole plan, is to literally fill up these countries, destabilize all the economies. It's all one big umbrella. Okay, but the whole digital ID, someone just mentioned to me, without insulting, because I don't think she followed me for the longest time, she said, you're more optimistic than me. But, obviously, I was, and for the people that follow me, they know I'm 99.9%, 99% that everything I said has came true, except the whole Mark Carney winning by 400,000 votes. Again, it's still, to this very day, I am 100% positive that they cheated their way into it. So we'll just leave it to that. But I like it. I like the fact that Carney came in and won. I like it. Just like how Joe Biden came in 2020. It's just a mirror effect. It's literally going to destroy the Liberal Party for the longest time. I don't even think there'll be another Liberal Party after this, just like the NDP. You understand? But it's literally going to destroy, it's going to expose, it's going to disclose everything that's happening, and that's been happening. I mean, at the end of the day, common sense, guys. Todd, buddy, you can have any hat you want, brother. I think I got a pride hat back there, for coming out of the closet. I'm going to bring that to you. I'm going to bring you a nice hat next time I see you, because I know you like hats, and I love you, Todd, with a passion. You finally came out of the closet, and, we all love you the same way. And I know I'm hoping you're feeling a lot better, brother. All right. So besides talking to my brother from a different elbows up hat, yeah, we're going to get you eyebrows up. That's the new slogan. Instead of elbows, it's eyebrows up. Going, shit, something's going on here. I think that's a great slogan for my new party. So yeah, at the end of the day, guys, this is all about exposing, right? Draining the swamp, like we've been talking about, Donald Trump's been talking about, and it's happening. I mean, look what Donald Trump just did this week. Let's talk about this week. All right, let's talk about this week. Let me see. Let's go with this one. Check this one for 37 seconds.
Think about this new bill that's going to basically eliminate no capital gains tax on home sales, to be able to free up the money. People who've owned a house for a long time can't afford to pay the capital gains.
Yeah, well, we're looking at that, and it could be a very big positive. I don't think for you, because you make so much money, it doesn't matter. But I think it's going to be a great incentive for a lot of people that really need money.
So between that and Jerome Powell stepping down, that could really boost home sales.
Well, I think if Jerome Powell stepped down, it would be a great thing. I don't know that he's going to, but he should.
So capital gains, goodbye, see you later. IRS, the income tax, goodbye, see you later. I mean, Orange Man bad, of course. Orange Man really bad. And on top of that, he's already told Canada, like if it wasn't for Donald Trump, we would be censored right now. I wouldn't even be able to do my videos because, Orange Man is the one that told them you're not going to touch social media of things getting into Canada. Remember that, guys? So we'll just leave that part there. Another thing with Donald Trump, I mean, I don't know if you guys seen this. I want to share a couple shots with you of pictures, but let's do a couple more videos. Check this one out for a video, which, I mean, Trump man bad. Check this out with what 70,000 monks who, I don't know what they call it, where they made where they don't talk. They made I'm having a brain fart right now, where they made a commitment never to talk again. I can't remember what it's called. Maybe you guys can help me. But check this out, 50 seconds long.
70,000 monks just broke their vows of silence to nominate Trump for the Nobel.
Dear Mr. President Trump, we are standing here today with hearts full of appreciation. Today, 70,000 Cambodian Buddhist monks are wholeheartedly supportive of our Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet to nominate you for the Nobel Peace Prize. Please accept, Mr. President.
70,000 monks can't be wrong. After Trump brokered a peace deal between Cambodia and Thailand, the monks went ultra MAGA and shaved their heads like Stephen Miller. So 47 thinking about sending them all, 70,000 of them, Trump 2028 hats. Duty and tariff-free.
I knew he was going to say that for some reason, sending them all hats. I mean, of course, their heads are all shaved because, you know, but that's what I was trying. Their vows, they, you know, never to talk again and stuff like that. I mean, but Trump man bad. And speaking of Trump man bad, Trump, the orange man bad. Remember this? He said this a couple years ago. All right. And I'm going to find it for you guys. He said this a couple years ago, and I'm going to find it. It's here somewhere. It's here, right here. Check this out, guys. Do you remember when President Trump made mention in a speech? He said, within a year's time or so, almost all hospital procedures, they mean the med beds, trust the plan. So yeah, remember he said that, guys? I remember doing my live one day, and I remember showing everybody about Donald Trump mentioning that hospitals will be obsolete. Remember that? I think you guys can, you know, vow for that, right? So guess what he shared the other day on his Truth Social? Check this out, because I mean, he's not going to share this because he's losing his effing mind. He's sharing this to give you guys a heads up of what's going to happen.
Breaking now, President Donald J. Trump has announced a historic new healthcare system, the launch of America's first MedBed hospitals and a national MedBed card for every citizen.
Every American will soon receive their own MedBed card. With it, you'll have guaranteed access to our new hospitals led by the top doctors in the nation, equipped with the most advanced technology in the world. These facilities are safe, modern, and designed to restore every citizen to full health and strength. This is the beginning of a new era in American healthcare.
In this first phase, only a limited number of MedBed cards will be released. Registration details will be announced very soon.
So even though, just to let you guys know, maybe I should have said before, that's just an AI. All right, that was just an AI. But he actually shared that AI video on his Truth Social. So obviously, you know, you read between the lines. All right. So yeah, it's AI, Brent. It's AI. It's AI. It wasn't Donald Trump. I should have said that at first. But yeah, he literally, like I said, he shared it. And if it wasn't going to happen, he would have never shared that on his Truth Social. You understand? So yeah, I should have said that it was AI. But at the end of the day, it's like he said last year, within a year or so, that hospitals are going to be obsolete. I mean, is the guy losing his mind? Is dementia setting in? And, you know, Joe Biden executed 2020, med beds, peace. I mean, what's going on that people are still hating him? Well, like I said, there are still a lot of useless eaters, like Kissinger would say. All right. There's still a lot of useless eaters, you know, going through our resources that really, you know, shouldn't be on the face of this earth. Like the earth would be a better place without these useless eaters. And you know, I hate to say it that way, but it really is. I mean, I support the depopulation agenda because after 5 years, if you can't figure it out by now and you're still talking this kind of crap, you're never going to be able to handle the truth. Like, you know, that movie with Tom Cruise and, what's his name? Jack Nicholson. You can't handle the truth, A Few Good Men. So, yeah. So at the end of the day, you guys decide what you think, because he wouldn't be sharing something that he didn't believe in. All right. One thing that I noticed yesterday, I'll talk about this because the time is catching up here before I share some more videos and all this stuff, is we're sitting in the referee room, and one of the guys, just to let you know, one of my videos went viral. I had like 400,000 views within 3 days. I had to take the damn video off because, for reasons that people that know me know the reasons. So I had no other choice, or would have made 500,000 easy. But anyway, one of the guys in the dressing room looked at me and he said, I heard you were talking about immigrants and why we should deport them and all that stuff. I said, yeah. He said, well, I don't agree because Canadians don't want to work. Now, you guys are going to love this, all right? I'm going to watch your comments. So he came up and he said, Canadians don't want to work, so we need the immigrants here, all right? So before I give you guys my common sense answer, do you agree with this person saying we need immigrants here because Canadians don't want to work? All right. So give me your feedback. Just that question alone is totally, he's a liberal. All right. But give me why he would say that. And when I hit him up with the common sense answer, everybody shut their mouth. All right. Everybody shut their up, because I'm going to give you the answer. All right. I'm going to give you the answer. When someone says that to you, you guys are going to say, you know what? Jeff Freedom give me the right answer to it. All right. Jeff Freedom give me the right answer. Okay. You guys ready for this? All right. So the right answer to this that nobody in that dressing room could answer is this. All right. Check this out. All right. There's only actually one good answer, is if the Canadians didn't want to work and they're lazy, all right, and this is why we need the immigrants, all right, why in the hell is the government giving subsidies to companies just to hire immigrants? Now, you guys, make it make sense, okay? If Canadians are too lazy to go to work or find work or whatever, why would the businesses need incentives and subsidies from the government to just hire immigrants? So make that make sense, because you know what? They all looked at me and not one person would actually answer that, because they can't. They can't answer it. It's impossible to answer. So there you got the answer. Are Canadians really lazy and don't want to work? Because that's not the case. If they were too lazy and didn't want to work, why would the government have to give incentives to companies to hire the immigrants? Does that make sense to you? So it's got nothing about the government can pay them cheap money. I'm not talking about the businesses. You guys are all over the place. I'm talking about if Canadians are lazy, then why do the companies hire immigrants? Why do they get incentives to hire the immigrants? You understand? You won't, if Canadians are lazy, you won't need to give incentives. You understand? So make it make sense. So that's the answer. That's the only answer you can give to the next person. If you're at a stupid Tim Hortons, which no one should be supporting Tim Hortons in the first place. All right, just to let you guys know, find your mom and pop coffee shop, go somewhere else, stay away from Starbucks, stay away from Tim Hortons. All right. And we'll leave it to that. So Sharon says, yeah, why don't they give incentives to hire Canadians? At the end of the day, make it make sense, but no one in that room, out of probably 12 of us, they didn't have an answer to that. And no one can debate with that answer. And that's probably why when I'm going to run for Premier of New Brunswick, and I can't wait till I get blasted. I can see the news reporters right now at a debate. So, Jeff, running for Premier, what are you going to do for climate change? All right, check this out, guys. There's no climate change. That's a bullshit narrative from the UN. Thank you. Next question. So what are you going to do that you're talking about immigrants? Well, we don't need immigrants in this province. We always survive without immigrants in this province. All the immigrants do is destabilize the economy. Look at our education. Look at our healthcare. Look at all the food banks. Look at the homes. I mean, at the end of the day, the news are good. They're never going to put me on TV. They'll put me on TV to say I'm racist. They'll bring back things from the past, of course. But I've got thick skin. I've always had thick skin. So I'll be able to deal with that. But I'm going to talk about stuff that people are going to be blasted. The chemtrails. I'm going to be talking about the death jabs and what the depopulation agenda. You don't hear premiers talk about that. You understand? That's stuff that people want to know. They might think I'm crazy, but you know what? When it comes to the polls of me getting the numbers, people are going to be coming out to vote for my party because they're going to have no other choice. Because they need chaos in their life right now because they need something different. Because when I give them the explanation of insanity, and you would have to be insane to vote for the same shit and expect a different outcome, once they get that philosophy drilled in their brain, they're going to have no other choice to vote for a different party. All right? Plain and simple. Some of that actually speaks against immigration and immigration caps, right? And I've got a bunch of stuff, guys, that my platform is going to be like, oh my God, I'm excited to share my platform with the people that are going to be surrounding me next Sunday. You guys don't even know. People, I don't even know how they never even thought about this stuff. I heard the vax brains have been altered. I believe it. They're gone. They're crazy. Yeah, we can't talk about the vaccinated because I actually have people that are vaccinated. I watched the show. If you're vaccinated and you're still voting liberal, I have no sympathy for you. But if you're vaccinated and you made a mistake and you actually say, I made a mistake, you're welcome to the group and the family and to talk to me how I can get this stuff out. Guys, I had 3 people alone last week, sorry, because we're Monday. I had 3 people alone last week message me for ivermectin and fenbenzidol because they have cancer that is out of control. Like 3 people alone. And the first thing I said is, like I said, I'm going to get personal. So you better get used to what I'm going to tell you is how many shots did you take? And every single one of them took the shots. Not one person so far that told me they had cancer said, no, I didn't take the jab. Cancer just came. Not one person. Not one person out of hundreds. All right. Even my doctor, going to see my doctor last week, is like, Jeff, we need to talk. What is going on with all my patients? I'm seeing stuff that it's not even in the medical journals. And I would tell them, well, this is what they need to do. This is how you're going to be able to help them. It might be too late for this one, definitely for that one. He's going crazy to the point that he's probably going to be semi-retired this year because he's got no choice because he can't keep up with the amount of death he sees coming. You understand? Including himself that went and got the jab and had a double bypass surgery, right? Because he didn't want to lose his license. And his brother, who had a triple bypass surgery, who took the jab, but because they didn't want to, lose their license. Now he's taking advice from me, and that's why he'll always be my favorite doctor, just for the fact that at the end of the day, he doesn't say that he knows it all, and that's what's great about him. All right. So you guys got the answer for the people next time when a liberal looks at you and says, well, Canadians are lazy. They don't want to work. You hit them with that answer. And I love to see what they would say. I would love to see what they would say. All right. See, Kathy, 2 of my siblings that were jabbed have cancer. Yeah. Kathy, at the end of the day, look me up, send me a personal message. I can help them with the spike detox. They need to get the spike detox in there. Obviously, because the longer they keep this stuff in them, the worse it's going to be. I mean, they need to get that spike detox formula from Dr. McCullough, which I have, the recipe. Then they need to get some ivermectin and fenbenzidol in them to clear up the cancer cells that are in there, or parasites, because that's what those mRNA shots really are. Spike detox, parasites. I mean, it's a whole different change of DNA. You don't even want to understand it. It's just, let me try to help your people. Alex, yeah, turbo cancer and diseases. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like my doctor told me. He's like, I've never even seen a quarter of what my patients are coming back with. I don't know what to tell them. You know what I mean? That's why, and he's probably 2-3 years older than me, and I'm still 29. So for him to say I'm semi-retired because I can't put up with this, because it's literally draining him, goes to show you, what he has. Yes, we know, Ray, that curling, but she needs the exact formula of how many times, twice a day, once a day, how much she needs that formula. But yeah, it's the ultimate combo. But at the end of the day, Kathy, I tried talking to them about alternative treatment, not even open to talking about it, which is the hardest part. And I knew you were going to say that. I knew exactly you were going to say they probably don't want to listen. And at the end of the day, it's your siblings, so I can't talk bad about them, because obviously you'll definitely delete me. Because I would hate my son to say, Dad, I don't care what you say. I've got cancer because it's heredity, or I got cancer because I drink energy drinks all day. Either way, it's sad as a parent to hear this, and we'll just go with that. Yeah, I'm holding up at 29. The girlfriend told me she went to do this vampire facial where they take blood out of you and then they microneedle the blood plasma back into your face. And she looks good after 2 weeks, 3 weeks. She's been on it. That it happened. It's like $500. So yeah, I mean, I didn't try it yet, but because I'm still look young, so I don't want to mess anything up. Do your clocks turn back this year? Where I live, my time stays the same, never changes. Of course, the clock changes. Now, eventually, the clock changes. I think it's in October, at the end of October. Something around after Halloween or something, around Halloween. Ron, you don't believe me? I'm not 29? Come on. Did I put a filter on? I didn't even put a filter on my face. I should have put a filter. I don't even know how to put a filter on. But at the end of the day, so what they're trying to do with the whole change in the time is they want to change the time to always keep it to, we get more sun. I don't know what that kind of time is called, because I'm having a brain fart, but they want to keep it that it's always the same time and nothing changes, because we all know that when winter comes, it gets dark early. People are in a depression, the snow, the winter, it's cold. See, Janice, she gets a star from me. You get 2 stars, Janice, on your report card for me. But they want to keep the time, and that's definitely planned for the future. I've already heard Trump talk about that a couple of years ago, that they want to keep the time at the, pretty much at the same time. Time savings. I don't even know what time savings. So yeah. We all hate it, Tiss. At the end of the day, we all hate it. All right. I'm not going to talk about that, obviously. I talked about the digital. One thing, I'm going to show you a couple photos, guys, because, this is not, I don't want you guys to crap all over me and make me sound like a bigot or stuff like this. But we all know that they're trying to sell a narrative. Back in the 70s and 80s, we always had healthy looking bodies, right? And then the 90s came, they put sugar in everything. And now everybody's like suffering with obesity. But they tried to normalize obesity, making people, and this is all truth, guys, they're trying to make obesity look normal. So you had, the magazines for models with obesity making it big is beautiful and stuff like that, and all that BS. And people are like, oh, I don't need to look like like a supermodel and stuff like that. Obesity, I'm beautiful inside and out. They try to sell that crap, and it works, obviously. But I mean, at the end of the day, when you have this in Canada, and I've already talked about this, her salary is $300,000 a year. She's no medical doctor. She's got no PhD. She's got no health degree. She's a chemical engineer. She's advising Canadians and doctors on health as the top doctor, but she isn't a doctor. I mean, look at her. She looks like Griffin from Family Guy, all right? Making $300,000. She's not even Canadian. I mean, you've seen that video I showed you with what's happening. I mean, look at our Minister of Public Safety is Gary whatever, who's going to be out the door pretty damn soon, losing his job. He's Punjabi, or I don't know which toilet bowl he came out of what country, but he's from the other side. And I think there's 22 Muslims in Parliament as we speak right now. 22. All right. And like I said, we need to flush those people out of there ASAP before they take over our politics, like they've been doing in the UK. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to happen. I think the world is on to what's happening, and they're going to be flushing that out. And then I want to share this person the last time. This is the director of health at the Ball State University. She was fired, obviously. She was fired for the Charlie Kirk comments she made. But this is the director of health at a state university. All right. I went to share this a while back ago. At a state university, director of health. There is nothing healthy on that person whatsoever. All right. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not a hypocrite. All right. I'm not a hypocrite. Yeah, I got videos. Ron, I shared a couple of videos with you guys, but I'm going to show you something else that's hitting everybody right now. I want to share a couple videos actually before, but check this out with Trump. Trump is actually making fun of the Venezuelan army. So he's trolling. Check this out. I want to share this last week, but I didn't have time. Check this video. That was Trump trolling. He said, we caught the Venezuelan military doing training. I mean, you got to love the guy. That's a sense of humor. Now, I don't think those girls were really training for anything. But at the end of the day, when you share that as a president, I mean, at the end of the day, that guy gets my vote every day. I mean, because you can't make it any more funner than that, right? So we were talking about digital ID, and I want to share this as the digital ID and the QR scans and all this of what they were trying to do, and the mark of the beast and all that for the people that are, wide awake. But check out what a QR code really is. I bet you guys didn't know this.
After watching this video about barcodes, you will never look at them the same way again, and you'll go check this out for yourself. Look at any item in your home that has a barcode and you'll see it. This is shocking.
I find it extremely interesting that the UPC barcode, as designed in 1973, was coincidentally designed around the number 666.
Universal Product Codes, or UPCs, are found on almost every store product today. These codes allow the cashier to scan the item into the computer instead of entering the price manually. Every UPC is made up of numbers and bars. The bars themselves also have a numerical value. Notice that the bars on the left, in the middle, and on the right of the code do not have numerical values underneath them. However, the other bars all do. So by comparing these three bars at the beginning, the middle, and the end with numbered bars, it is clear that those dividing bars always represent the number 6.
Even though it's not apparent visibly to anyone who looks at it, there is a mathematical representation there of the number 666.
The book of Revelation tells us that in the last days, no one will be able to buy or to sell without the number 666. Despite the protests of industry insiders who claim that it is all just a coincidence, the fact is that virtually every product sold in the world today is sold with the number 666.
With the number 666. Now, I shared that video a long time ago, and it's resurfacing again from somebody else. But I mean, I mean, that's the truth. I mean, the mark of the beast. We have been run by Satanists for the last hundreds of years. When people, like, the biggest trick that the biggest trick that the devil's ever done is to make people believe he doesn't exist. But I mean, at the end of the day, we all know that the devil, Satan, and demons do exist on earth, obviously, because if they didn't exist, we wouldn't have poverty and diseases, and money wouldn't be the greed of all evil. At the end of the day, when the queen is sitting on a $40 million gold chair and she talks about poverty, think about that. I mean, make it make sense, right? Because there's no common sense in that, right? Wearing that crown, the crown's worth what, $20-30 million. She got a crown on her head with emeralds and jewels and gold, pure. I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to solve, if you think that Satan is not on the earth and evil, I mean, make it make sense. All right. They don't have the gold anymore. Obviously, Trump has their gold now. But at the end of the day, and speaking of make it make sense, for the people that, are probably going to shit on me for this, but when you talk about, to this very day, we're still hearing about stuff about natives need drinking water, clean drinking water, and natives this and natives that and natives this. Check this out, what this guy says about the natives and their chiefs.
It's not the white guys causing financial harm to us Aboriginal people. It's our own chief and council. These are big bucks. We're talking 100, 150 million per band. And where you have a chief and council arbitrarily deciding that you're only going to get $30,000 each. That's basically like a 20% disbursement, 80% goes to chief and council to do as they please. Now, typically they put it into a trust fund, but there are court cases, trust money has gone missing. So they turn 18, they go to the bound office thinking they're going to have a $50,000 check, only to find like, hey, we can't find your check, we don't have it here. There is no money in the trust.
So the trusts are being broken?
In more ways than one, the trust is broken.
Yeah, so that was a Canadian whistleblower talking about those people, obviously. And I know, because if you go on a lot of reserves, you'll see all the chiefs with brand new trucks, not, I mean, $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 trucks. Anyway, at the end of the day, I'm going to finish off with this one video for you guys about the Epstein, of the stuff that's coming out and what Donald Trump is exposing. Check this out.
Breaking news. House Oversight Chairman James Comer has just issued subpoenas in the Jeffrey Epstein case. Chairman Comer sent one subpoena to the Department of Justice for the complete Epstein files and more for depositions from former officials. Those officials include former attorneys general Bill Barr, Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, and Merrick Garland. Also, former FBI directors Robert Mueller and James Comey, and both of these people now, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and her husband, former President Bill Clinton.
Yep, it's finally getting exposed. For the people that said Donald Trump was trying to hide it, no, there's a reason why Donald Trump was doing what Donald Trump had to do. Obviously, because Maxwell is sitting in a jail cell. So if the Epstein list never existed, why is she sitting in a jail cell, right? Why, So at the end of the day, make it make sense. Anyway, guys, thank you again for spending the hour with me. Like that show, this hour has 60 minutes. Well, my podcast only has 60 minutes. We had a great show. Thank you. Like I said, next Sunday for the New Brunswickers, we're having a get together for the new party that we're doing. It's next Sunday at 1:00 at the Highland Park in Salisbury. We decided to go to Salisbury. Next will probably be in Oromocto or St. John, but we're going to roam it around. And this is to build the foundation for the new party. Obviously, before you build the house, you start off with the foundation, right? And then you frame it. So we know for a fact we got 3 years to do this, and we're going to do it right. And we're going to make sure that we pick the right candidates for all the ridings and all that good stuff. And we're going to do this proper and make the party look more legit and not just one, just a simple party, a Timu party, I guess you could say. We want to make sure that we are taken serious, I guess, because I don't jump into something unless it's serious. All right. I love you guys all. Thank you for coming out. And like Don Cherry says, you people hold that line. I'll finish the night off with a little Dropkick Murphys, to get the week pumping. Obviously, it's a holiday tomorrow, and we'll go from there. So we'll see you guys Thursday at 9 o'clock, same time, same place, same channel, and have a great week. And adios, amigos, to my familia in Colombia. Bye, guys.